Have you ever felt a strange emptiness after an intense moment of intimacy? A quiet, almost hollow ache that lingers long after the warmth of the moment has faded? It's subtle at first, a faint whisper in your chest, a heaviness behind your eyes, a restlessness that you can't explain. It feels as if something sacred escaped from you, leaving behind an absence that no amount of distraction can fill. This feeling is far more common than you might imagine. Many people experience it, yet few can describe it, and even fewer understand what it truly means. Some call it a loss of energy, others a kind of emotional hangover. But what if this emptiness is not just a fleeting reaction? What if it's a profound signal from your unconscious, a message from the deeper layers of your psyche, trying to tell you something about yourself? Carl Gustav Jung, one of the most influential psychologists of all time, spent his life exploring these mysteries. For Jung, intimacy was never merely physical or emotional. It was a psychological and spiritual phenomenon, one that leaves invisible traces on the soul. When we connect deeply with someone, something shifts inside us. The exchange is not only of affection or attraction, it's an exchange of energy, of meaning, of identity. It changes who we are, even if only subtly. In this video, we'll explore what really happens to your mind, your energy, and your soul after intimacy, and how to free yourself from the invisible bonds that can quietly imprison you. Stay with me until the end, because once you understand this, you'll never see human connection the same way again. The psychological imprint of intimacy. When we get close to someone, we often think it's a simple meeting of emotions, a shared experience that exists only in the present moment. But Jung believed that every encounter between two people goes much deeper than that. Every intimate interaction leaves a psychic imprint, a lasting mark on the unconscious. Why? Because we never attach to someone by chance. Behind every relationship, there is an invisible psychological pattern at play, a network of desires, wounds, and projections. When you fall in love, you don't see the other person as they truly are. You see them through the lens of your unconscious expectations, as a symbol of something you long for or something you lack. Jung called this process psychological projection. We project our hidden desires and fears onto others, hoping, without realizing it, that they will complete us or heal what we have not yet faced in ourselves. We are drawn not only to the person, but to what they represent: security, passion, freedom, validation, or even redemption. But what happens when this illusion breaks down? When reality starts to replace the fantasy, and the person in front of us no longer fits the image we created? That's often when the emptiness appears. It's not simply the absence of the other person that hurts. It's the loss of the part of ourselves that we had unconsciously placed in them. For people who give too much in relationships, this effect can be overwhelming. They invest so much emotional and energetic power into the connection that when it ends, they feel drained, as though a part of their soul has been taken away. But the truth is, that void was always there. The relationship merely illuminated it. Energetic bonds and invisible threads. Beyond the psychological level, Jung also spoke about the collective unconscious, a vast web that connects every human mind. But these connections are not only psychological, they are energetic. Every intimate exchange creates an invisible bond, what many spiritual traditions call energetic cords. When you share yourself deeply with another person, you exchange more than words, more than touch. You exchange energy, intention, and emotion. Some people leave you feeling peaceful and uplifted, while others leave you feeling strangely tired, anxious, or empty. That's because energy has direction. When you connect with someone whose energy is unbalanced, or when you give more than you receive, a subtle imbalance begins to form. Imagine each intimate encounter as a thread of light connecting you to the other person. The more intense the connection, the thicker and more radiant that thread becomes. But when the relationship ends, that thread doesn't just vanish, it continues to exist, drawing emotional and energetic attention toward that person, sometimes for years. This is why certain people continue to haunt your thoughts long after they're gone. It's not only emotional attachment or nostalgia, it's an active energetic imprint still vibrating in your field. You might feel random waves of sadness, sudden memories, or even physical fatigue. These are signs that the bond still exists on an energetic level. In Jungian terms, the psyche has not yet withdrawn its projection. It's still investing energy in an external image rather than reclaiming it internally. The shadow and the reappearance of the void, the emptiness that follows intimacy, isn't punishment, it's revelation. It shows us something hidden within ourselves. According to Jung, every human being carries a shadow, the sum of all the traits, desires, and fears we repress. The shadow isn't evil. It's simply the part of us we don't want to see. In relationships, the shadow always makes itself known. We might project our unhealed wounds, abandonment, inadequacy, rejection onto the other person. And for a time, love feels like healing. But when the relationship ends, those old wounds return, amplified by absence. Someone who fears being alone may find refuge in a partner, but when that partner leaves, the fear doesn't disappear, it grows. The emptiness that follows is not the loss of love, it's the reactivation of the original wound. This is why Jung often said that relationships are the greatest teachers of the soul. They don't just bring joy or sorrow, they bring awareness. Each connection acts as a mirror, showing us where our inner work remains unfinished. The illusion of completion. Many people enter relationships subconsciously hoping that love will complete them. Movies, songs, and culture reinforce this idea that somewhere out there exists a missing half, a soulmate who will make everything whole again. But Jung warned that this belief is a trap. When we rely on another person to complete us, we give them a power they can never truly hold. We make them the guardian of our happiness, and when they leave, we feel as if they've taken that happiness with them. The truth is, intimacy doesn't fill a void, it illuminates it. The emptiness you feel afterward is not a failure, it's a reflection. It's your psyche whispering, "Look here, this is what still needs healing." Transforming emptiness into awareness. So how do you transform this emptiness into empowerment? How do you stop feeling drained and start reclaiming your own energy? The first step is awareness. Instead of resisting the feeling or rushing to replace it with a new distraction, observe it. Ask yourself, what part of me was activated by this connection? What was I truly seeking through intimacy, validation, love, safety, or escape? What did I hope this person would heal in me? These questions shift your focus from them back to you. The goal isn't to blame yourself or the other person. It's to bring light to what was unconscious. Because once you name it, it no longer controls you. Cutting energetic ties. Once awareness has returned, the next step is to release the energetic bonds. You don't need complex rituals to do this, only intention and presence. Find a quiet space. Close your eyes. Visualize the person with whom you still feel energetically entangled. See the invisible cords connecting your heart to theirs. Then, with compassion, not anger, imagine gently detaching those cords, not cutting them violently, but untying them with gratitude. Say to yourself, "Thank you for what you brought into my life. I release you with peace. I take back my energy, and I return yours to you." This simple visualization, repeated over time, reclaims the fragments of your energy that were unconsciously invested elsewhere. Other grounding practices, meditation, journaling, time in nature, help you reintegrate that energy into your own being. You begin to feel lighter, clearer, and more centered. Learning to be whole within yourself. Freedom from post-intimacy emptiness doesn't mean closing your heart or avoiding love. It means learning to love without losing yourself. True emotional independence is not isolation, it's wholeness. It's the recognition that you are already complete and that every relationship is a choice, not a necessity. When you cultivate a strong connection with yourself through introspection, creativity, and spiritual practice, intimacy becomes an exchange of abundance, not a transaction of need. You no longer give to be validated or merge to escape solitude. You share because your inner cup is already full. Jung called this process individuation, the lifelong journey of integrating all parts of the self into harmony. It's not about perfection, it's about authenticity. When you embrace your own shadow and light, you stop projecting them onto others. You meet people not as saviors or reflections, but as equals, fellow travelers on the same path of self-discovery. The spiritual dimension of connection. There's also a mystical truth that runs through all of this. Every encounter serves your evolution. Some people come into your life to awaken tenderness. Others come to mirror your wounds. and a few come to help you remember who you truly are. Even the painful connections, the ones that end abruptly or leave you feeling hollow, are sacred teachers. They force you to look inward, to reclaim your power, to learn boundaries, forgiveness, and self-respect. So when you feel that emptiness, don't treat it as a curse. Treat it as a sacred space, an empty vessel waiting to be filled with wisdom. That silence inside you is not absence, it's preparation, a clearing, making room for a deeper, more conscious kind of love, reclaiming energy and meaning. As you begin to reintegrate your energy, something subtle but powerful happens. You start to feel your own life force returning. Colors seem brighter. The world feels more alive. Your attention shifts from what you've lost to what you're becoming. The same energy that once flowed toward another person now flows back into your creativity, your purpose, your dreams. You begin to channel that energy into your own evolution, into becoming the kind of person who no longer needs to be completed by another. You realize that intimacy is not about losing yourself in someone else. It's about finding yourself through connection. Each bond becomes a mirror, not a cage. Each ending becomes a door to deeper awareness. And when you reach that stage, love no longer drains you. It expands you, integrating the lessons. Jung's ultimate message was this: what we seek in others is often a reflection of what we must discover within ourselves. If we chase love to escape loneliness, we'll attract relationships that mirror that emptiness. If we love to share joy, we'll attract connections that amplify it. The outer world always reflects the inner one. So instead of fearing intimacy or avoiding its aftermath, learn from it. Let each connection reveal something about your inner world, your patterns, your strengths, your unhealed wounds. Because the people who trigger us the most are often the ones who point us toward the greatest transformation, turning emptiness into empowerment. Here's the secret Jung would want you to remember. The emptiness after intimacy is not a hole, it's a doorway, a threshold between who you were and who you're becoming. When you stop running from it, when you sit with it and listen, you realize it's not emptiness at all, it's potential. It's your own energy returning home. And in that stillness, you rediscover something that no relationship can give you: a direct connection to your own soul. This is the essence of individuation, not to detach from others, but to awaken fully within yourself so that every bond becomes conscious, not compulsive. You no longer love out of fear of being alone. You love because you are whole.